are only 2 steps remaining as we begin week 3 of episode 3's Act 2. Quoting Eris, the living flesh of Akka, once a piece of Oryx's own throne world, now serves as a tether to mine. Much like the Taken bound to the offering, so too shall the echo of navigation be bound to my realm.
Guardian, we are poised to strike, and strike first. Meet me aboard the Dreadnought. I will perform our ritual where I fell. Oryx will bend to our strength, and my throne will be his prison.
We return to the Dreadnought's Hall of Souls and witness Eris and what I presume to be a shard of the Willbreaker.
Guardian, Savathun and Zebu Arath's forces close on us like jagged teeth. Thwart them. Protect the ritual as I bind the echo of the Navigator to my throne world. I will subdue the Taken King, capture him, cleave him from his throne. He will not escape my power. I will be his jailer yet.
Eris reaffirms her intentions and informs us that we will have to protect her from the forces of Zebu and Savathun as the ritual proceeds. As we step on the plate to commence the ritual, we're able to witness the echo of the Navigator as well as the shadowy figure of Oryx himself. The Resonant Knife, first of the Reshape, also comes to stop our ritual. So where in the first act we interfered in its ritual, they are here to interfere in ours. Also, Eris did specifically say the forces of Zebu and Savathun were here to stop us, but from what I've been led to believe, I don't think the Resonant Knife belongs to either of them, so I'm not sure if that's an oversight on Eris's end or if she just lumped the forces in together with, the rest of them, or what's happening here. But in any case, we're assaulted by some thralls and have to clear the platform. After some amount of time, a bunch of Acolyte eyes spawn above me. I continue to shoot at them ad nauseum, but while doing so, I do notice that some of the Acolyte eyes are named differently. After stepping back, I notice that there is a hive symbol above the middle platform, and that the only Acolyte eyes shooting at me were specifically the Eyes of Vengeance. Being named differently, obviously I understood something was up with them and shot only the Eyes of Vengeance. Shooting at these specific Eyes of Vengeance leaves the rest of the Acolyte eyes to form the shape of the hive symbol. We're then attacked by a bunch of ads before having to repeat this process. The Acolyte eye forming the shape of the hive symbols is pretty cute, and while technically they do help guide you towards which Acolyte eyes are the Eyes of Vengeance, I did find it easier to just scan over each Acolyte eye until I stumbled across the Eye of Vengeance to just shoot that one. After repeating this process for a third time, we are informed that the Echo of Navigation is now bound to Eris's throne world. Just like that. The hive symbols and the animation of it affecting the echo itself is neat, but not hearing anything from Oryx about it being restrained is kind of just odd. After that, we return to Eris's throne world.
Guardian, we have him. Eris's mission was a success. I can't say I'm not impressed. Eris and I have never been afraid to do what needed to be done, regardless of the risk. And now we've captured the Taken King himself. I told Eris that fear is a warning. Correctly deployed, we can send that warning to our enemies. Now the Taken and the Dread hear it loud and clear. You know I was against bringing him here. Eris's throne world was our tactical advantage. But we had to move fast. That's what Eris did. She reacted, and now we have to adapt. This is an opportunity. We've got Oryx pinned. Hold him, Guardian.
We hear from Sloane, and us having captured Oryx, well, is not a result she wanted exactly, still sends a pretty drastic message to the Taken and Dread, and showcases our power. After that, we check in with the shipping slab at Eris's flat. I'll fill in the voiceover for Sloane's missing dialogue.
Guardian, we are triumphant. With the echo of the Navigator as our prisoner, we have gained ground against those who would subdue us.
We still have to deal with Oryx's sisters. Eris's actions have galvanized them, but the echo is secured. For now, we have our shot at finishing this.
We must not destroy him. He is a rich source of knowledge. As Echo and King, bound we may interrogate him.
And how long until you lose control?
I cannot hold him indefinitely. Keeping the echo of the Navigator in my throne world consumes my focus.
If the Echo escapes, or if his sisters are successful, it'll punch a hole through your throne world and straight into the Dreadnought. The last city would be in extreme danger.
I will not allow it.
Of course you won't, but Oryx would. We can't let our ambition outstrip our ability.
Quite.
Guardian, we need you back on the Dreadnought. You're our line of defense. Keep the Echo out of Xivu Arath and Savathun's hands. Assert control.
I will learn what I can from the Echo. But by force or ritual, they will move to reclaim their stolen sibling.
Well, can't patch a hive sword up with the everyday ceiling. Where's that leave us? You're gonna need some kind of taking fanciness for that. More than I have handy. Might be easier in the right place. Got some thoughts on that? I'll leave you a couple notes. Now, if anyone asks, I didn't tell you this, but they can't do anything to you anyway. Been working with the hidden a little. Call it freelancing. I do a favor for them, they do a favor for me. They're squares, but they've got good intel. And they've been keeping an eye on Savathun. We're gonna have to deal with her sooner, not later. Still digging, but when something useful comes up on her, I'll be in touch, hero. You just stay ready.
So in this final bit of dialogue, Eris confirms that she would be unable to keep control of Oryx forever, so our time with him is limited. Because we have Oryx in Eris' throne world, I was assuming that this would allow us to interact with Oryx for a much longer time, but this particular line does seem to imply that perhaps at the end of the episode, Oryx will probably be going away for a time being, or perhaps we can only interact with Oryx whenever Eris is able to focus in on it. But it does seem that in general, Oryx being in Eris' throne world is in itself a source of conflict. I guess while Eris doesn't need to hold Oryx forever, hopefully that period of time is somewhat substantial, because even if keeping the Echo of the Navigator in her throne world is consumes her focus, like what else do we need Eris's focus on? So yeah, having Oryx in Eris's throne world is a double-edged sword, as Sloan points out, because, well, even though we can mine Oryx and the Echo for information, if the Echo resists enough, or if Savathun or Xivu Arath get up to some crafty plan with the Echo, then that could lead a hole directly from the Dreadnought into Eris' throne world into the last city, which is Ender Flat, which would then be terrible for humanity. I assume that's definitely not going to happen. So, but it is interesting to see the themes of Sloan bringing up control and Eris representing ambition, and how that has to do with the Taken, and how that conflict has arisen here with our control of Oryx in Eris' throne world being ambitious. So it's like, how well can we balance that line? Well, short, Act 3 does begin next week, so it's not all that bad. Although I suppose that we probably should have just had the mission where we collect Akka's flesh to be this week, just to pad out the mission one a little bit, because, you know, I guess having Akka's flesh for the ritual was fine, but I guess us collecting Akka's flesh and then Eris using that as a ritual at the very end would also have probably been fine, because we don't really know the specifics of the ritual. So that's just more of a feel thing rather than, you know, of anything of true importance. And well, you know, technically it would be artificial padding, because, you know, we would just have to load into the nether like once or twice to get the flesh of Akka before then doing the mission proper. It would have made, you know, the mission feel a little bit longer. Another thing that is a bit weird is also that we don't hear from Oryx at all. Like, we just hear from Sloan and Eris, which, while they are the two main characters of this arc, but Drifter technically also being a main character, not hearing from Oryx is kind of odd on this matter, especially since it's involving it directly. So like maybe like a no from Oryx or something while the ritual is happening would have filled out that weird void that just lingers, because Oryx didn't react at all in the process, and it's just a bit odd. It feels a bit empty. And that's how Act 2 Week 3 ends.